Greetings, peace, love, and light. This is Mikael, the Traveling Medicine Man, and you here on the next edition, the current edition of Ancient Future Fridays. You feel me? And this is going to be a very, very special live. We got the renowned live food specialist, Godis Danielle, going to join us on the live. And it's a beautiful time right now. It's lunar eclipse coming around in this season right now, so it's a lot of energy. We just came from another solar eclipse, you feel me? So it's a lot of energy in the air right now. So we want to go ahead and just start this live off and giving thanks to the ancestors, give thanks to the energy right now. You feel me? Ashe. Okay, give thanks. We got the sister Danielle gonna join us right now. Give thanks. And yeah, this conversation was sparked off about a lot of energy. Got a lot of my good brothers and sisters around me been doing a raw food fast. You know, shout out to my brother Desan, or Naturally Herbs. You feel me? My brother Peace. You feel me? And sister Aj. I've been seeing a lot of good people around me doing raw food detoxes and cleanses and doing fasts. So I was thinking of my own spirit. You know, it'd be a good time, be a great time for start a raw greetings. Let me tap in with you and request. But yeah, I was thinking this would be a good time to do a raw food cleanse and fast. And so I wanted to get the sister Danielle to join us because it's a lot of people I see that's living a plant-based and ITAL lifestyle. But as far as like really the raw food lifestyle, and so I'm looking at experts like the sister Danielle, like the brother Aries Latham, like there's people that I can actually see that's in alignment with talking about that lifestyle. Hey, greetings to the love, sister. How you doing? That's what's up. I see you really out there tapped into nature right now. Shay. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I appreciate you joining. Yeah, this is Ancient Future Fridays where we bring information from the past, from our ancestors, but also, we thinking about the current time and now. And, just tapping in with guests and people who have some very deep information to share with the world about, the current time we're living in right now and information and advice that we can share on to the people. So I definitely thought about you when I was thinking about different people that would be great to bring on. I know you really embody and live a raw food lifestyle and a purpose of sharing that information to the people. So I'm still coming down the path of learning that myself too as well. So I was just thinking that, it'd be a great time for a conversation and build about that. So yeah, appreciate you joining us for sure.
Thank you.
Yes, so if you don't mind, for anybody who may not be aware of you or just coming across paths with you, can you introduce yourself and let everybody know like the service you offer to the world?
Give thanks for that introduction. Peace. Bessie. Magical. Supreme Rising Ashe. Magical kitchen magician. I use the food from nature as medicine, which is really simply an ancient remembrance of depending on the land, and it translates in this physical world as just tapping into my gifts of creating food as medicine, actually alchemizing with the plants. I embarked on a raw food journey almost 3 years ago, is when this quantum leap took place. I have been practicing fasting, which is really the origin of the remembrance for me, is having frozen. So,
Okay. Good thing.
yeah, that was. It's been a journey. It's still a journey. Still, learning and ebbing and flowing with how the tides guide
Okay. Good thanks. Good thanks for you sharing that. Yeah, you shared a lot, which is some things that we would love to touch on. Yeah, especially when it comes to development of children and working with a raw, food or plant-based diet. That's something that I want to do in my lifetime. Raise my children like that. I know many of us want to get back to that lifestyle. So that's something that we appreciate you touching on. And as far as like the brand and everything that you're doing, and I see you travel a lot too. Like, what kind of sparked that to start that for you?
Mm. Getting a vision from the Most High,
Mm,
very, very clearly that the information that I'm collecting on my journey, I need to share. And there are ways to do that in your daily experience. And I feel like being able to actually touch different people in different parts of the world is important, So
mm,
traveling and sharing and actually sharing the gifts and preparing the food and sharing it with my people.
okay.
While
Yes.
also tapping into this internet dimension as well, because this is a whole portal here that we're creating and that we're pouring into, and that it's also attracting our people.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so all of that is
Mm-hmm.
really sparked
Yeah.
actually having those profound experiences, like really using my food as medicine and seeing the fruits.
Mm, okay. So when you started this journey, was you more like in the inner city?
Yes. Uh, I went vegan when I was living in North Philly and
Okay.
was a college student, and you know, all I really had was the food stamps. Okay.
Right, right.
They worked at Trader Joe's.
So, okay.
So
Okay.
I got all my fruits and vegetables from Trader Joe's in North Philly
All right.
and
Okay.
made it work.
Yeah,
And
for sure. For sure.
what I have learned is that you always have precisely what you need
Mm, at that moment, for
for
sure.
what it is you have to do in
Right.
that moment. Yes.
Right. No, no, indeed, because I was in that same transition, starting off from still buying more from the grocery store, Whole Food, like you said, Trader Joe's. Yeah, spaces like this, but still learning that this is all still processed at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And it's not really raw, natural, like living food. So, stepping in that and my body telling me that over time,
Mm-hmm.
and doing meditation, like you said, getting spirit downloads from the Most High telling me you're doing good, you're better, but you can keep going further, and seeing some great examples out there, shout out to Dr. Sebi, he was still living at that time, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Layla Africa, he was still, around at that time, you know what I'm saying? There's some master teachers that really inspired me to go deeper down the path of wanting to, live that lifestyle, seeing the benefits and reaping, the benefits of that, seeing that example. So that's what keeping me going down the path. Now, I'm not fully raw right now, I would say. I'm kind of like 70-30, you know what I'm saying? And I'm hearing that's a good balance, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I would like to go fully down that raw lifestyle. So anybody who like in the hood environment or like anybody like who more in the inner city, how can somebody make that transition? Just as you kind of just touched on.
Mm-hmm. Well, for one, making better choices every day. Choosing organic, choosing to pray over your food. You
Mm-hmm.
like choosing more colors on your plate. Colors are vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Colors are
Okay.
colors. Each and every color connects you to a different level of your own self and offers you different medicine from the earth. And the full palette is part of the remembrance. So tapping into different colors, for those that are living in the inner cities and maybe don't have access to like a 15-acre farm where you're growing all organic, and from the land and vibrating with nature on that level, where
Right.
there's where you feel like there's that disconnect, you can just use what you have and know that what you have is enough. Well, know that what you have is sufficient in that space, in that time, and take it one step at a time. You know, if you have a windowsill, get you a little mason jar, put some dirt in it, plant a seed. You now have begun your garden.
Mm.
You know, it's about taking those steps forward. If you have a backyard, wow, if you have a balcony, get you a vertical garden that takes but 2 feet of space, and you can actually use your real estate that goes up into the heavens.
Mm.
Plant seeds,
Wow. Okay.
get into the soil in order to really reconnect. And the more you reconnect, the more you will connect.
Mm. I should give thanks. Okay. That's powerful. Yeah. You start simple. Keep raising up so you can get to the deeper levels of just being really tapped in, immersed in nature. And shout out, to all the divine goddess family energy. This is so-called, Women's Empowerment Month, but we empowering women, every day. But since on the line and you're a divine goddess and very influential with women's health, what I'm saying. I want to speak a little bit about women's health if possible, like any kind of advice you can give the sisters how to transition to a raw lifestyle and how can they increase their women's health.
Okay. Thank you so much for uplifting Mother Goddess. Very important to reconnect to your body, your physical body, spirit, your own mind, and recognize what thoughts are yours, and recognize, reconnect with your intuition. These are ways in which you can reconnect to your femininity and strengthen your womb portal, increasing your intake of berries daily, no matter where you are in your journey. You can find some berries, whether they're in season, around where you are. You can go to the farmer's market, you can go to the grocery store. Start off with doing a daily berry smoothie or having an acai bowl.
Mm.
Berries support the womb portal in nourishing her.
Mm.
And red raspberry leaf, of course, is one of the greatest herbs for womb cleansing, toning, and nourishing. This is an herb you can sip every day through your cycle, your menstrual cycle, through pregnancy, through postpartum, through pre-pregnancy. Every step of your feminine journey, red raspberry leaf is there for you. Stinging nettle also very important, I feel, for the feminine in keeping us mineralized. And I do also want to say for the men,
Mm.
what is good for us in preserving our femininity is also good for you. And so we give thanks.
Thanks. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely learning more about men's empowerment and health. Prostate health. Very important. What I'm saying. Definitely colon health very important. For men too as well. What I'm saying. So taking certain herbs and minerals for that. Ginseng. Is really good for that. Some other herbs as well. Can really tap you in. And as far as like there's some issues I'm hearing with women speaking about fibroids and cysts. Is there any like raw foods they can eat for that, or any herbs they can take to like help eliminate that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I do want to speak about this and fibroids and things on a physical level. What you can do is reconnect to your body through movement.
Mm.
That still is some of the most powerful medicine for us, and really breaking down that calcified mucus and trauma, and because that is what fibroids and cysts are. Part of what they are, what they're composed of, is unresolved trauma, anger, unworthiness, etc., in addition to the processed foods and antibiotics and the birth control,
Mm.
etc., all the things that the system has been poisoning many of my sisters with. once we actually begin to eliminate those unnatural substances that we have been ingesting, we can come back into our natural way of being, which is that which is clear, that which is pure. There are no blockages within us. When we begin to eliminate them from our regimen, some of these blockages also include our own doing, our own words that we're poisoning ourselves with. So when we begin to change our language and claim our healing, that
Okay.
part.
Yeah, right, 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 right.
No, you don't have fibroids. You're healing right now. You're
Yes,
healing.
yes. Okay.
No, you are not. No,
Mm.
you're not carrying that in this vision that we're consciously supposed to be consciously creating. I'm not even gonna say supposed to be, because we
No,
all
right,
have
right,
will, but it's about choosing
right, right.
consciously create a new reality for yourself using your words intentionally.
Mm.
So I am not sick.
Right.
Sickness does not exist in my reality.
Mm-hmm.
I am healing. I'm growing. I'm evolving. I'm finding deeper understanding, understanding. I'm
Yes.
releasing. I am sharing. I am growing, affirming,
Mm.
truly
Yeah.
affirming. So, like I said, I want to touch on the physical movement piece of also releasing these physical manifestations of words that don't serve you, traumas that are no longer serving you, etc. Tapping into the yoga practice,
Mm.
actually placing your sacred hands on your womb, speaking to her. These are important tools. Ashe.
Wow. I
Ashe.
said, good things. That's word sound power. You know what I'm saying? That's Reiki, personal healing. You know what I'm saying? And we all got these abilities, inside of us. Because even though, you can come to somebody for advice for healing, we still have to heal ourselves. We have to go through that process. We have to choose, like you said. And when you choose and you go through the process, you self-healing now. So I give thanks to you for that power, that affirming. And you touched on something earlier about being a divine mother, raising children and doing it in a natural, raw plant-based lifestyle. What's some advice you can give to parents on that? Especially parents that may be in the process of trying to work that in a community that may not be living that same lifestyle as them. You know what I'm saying? I know many parents that want to raise their children fully like plant-based. They may live in another community or family that don't like fully support it, but what's some things that a parent can do to overcome that?
Mm. Thank you for asking me this question and holding for parents raising the new generation. Definitely preparing. Proper preparation prevents poor performance in every space.
Mm.
So for me, if I'm going somewhere with my child, or my child is in a space where everybody's eating foods that we may not eat, I have food prepared already. I have some of her favorite. But this is I would say, some of the benefits of starting her on, plant-based food from the very beginning, from the womb.
Mm-hmm.
This does not mean that if you have a 5-year-old, you can't begin today. Yes, you can. It's about making choices, changing the snacks,
Mm-hmm.
you know, starting with shifting the vibration of the snack. Maybe your child does like chips. Offer them banana chips,
Mm-hmm.
offer them sweet potato, chips. Like, just making better choices, I feel like, is the best way, because if I overwhelm you with a whole bunch of information and all these things, it might become overwhelming and you might become uninspired to
Mm.
start.
Okay, I hear you on that for sure.
So, so it's about giving, just enough for someone to feel inspired to do better
Mm.
and become better and be inspired to be better.
Indeed. Indeed. No, I give thanks. And like you said, I think that's an important thing too, coming out the womb, like you said, if the parents can be in the process of doing the cleansing and detox. I
Mhm.
forget what it's exactly called right now, who created it, but it was something like the the God Body Challenge, or like cleansing and detoxing, each, the masculine and the feminine, like through the process of them, engaging and creating a child for like maybe like a couple months or 3 to 6 months or something like that in the process of detoxing, cleansing, then creating that child and, birthing, for the next generation of a healthy, generation to come moving forward. So I think all these things are important for our people. And I appreciate you for, living and embodying that and doing that. And I'm in the same process of, promoting that and living that lifestyle as well. And also, I see you really into farming, like you said, growing your own food. And I see a lot more farms and a lot more natural, organic food more when I travel to other places and other countries. But in America, even though I'm in California, it's a very good for producing a lot of produce for the country, but it don't be like the most natural and like the most, medicinal. So what's important is growing, your own food and staying your own lifestyle by eating, food.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes. We can start. Does anybody have any questions?
Let's see. All conversation gets saved. Definitely be saved and shared. Um, I don't see necessarily any questions off top right now, but yeah, I was just looking to build on more outside the corporate system of people getting food. Like, that's a big thing out here. Like people seem like they have to go to the stores to get the food, but I do my best to go to the farmers market where I'm at, locally out here. I do my best to get produce from other countries at times of the season when I know it's ripe and I can, really reap the benefits from that food from that country. I also eat, locally as I can and know as best I can to identify local fruits and vegetables, herbs, and, minerals that can help me. So,
Mm-hmm.
identification. I'm not the deepest into like foraging or
Mm-hmm.
being to be able to identify everything, but I do know enough though. If something happened, if I ever was out in nature and need to be out there for extended time to really survive, that's something that I think is another important thing too for people.
Ashe, Ashe. Overall renewal and reconnection to the land beneath your feet.
Yeah,
Yes. And peace all around.
yeah,
Reconnection. Reconnection.
and
Yes.
definitely. And I appreciate you being out in nature out there. How's the environment out there right now in California? It's kind of up and down. It's springtime, the sun has been out, but with weather modifications, stuff that's happening, it's been kind of just throwing weather out here, but everything has been nice out there.
I'm appreciative of having access to the trees,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the earth sign, being able to go out to the level, put my feet in the dirt. I'm able to naturally allow myself to ground. So,
Indeed. Yeah, indeed. I mean, we got some natural good forests out here. The best forests out here in California. We got some good streams in Mount Shasta. That's another port. I don't know. You heard of Mount Shasta?
yes.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, that's a very powerful port on the planet. They say it's the root chakra of the earth. When you
Mm-hmm.
go there, you can feel the energy of vibration, very subtle, but it's deep. Everybody there, peaceful vibes, high frequency, very cosmic, very connected. They say you can see other beings and connect with higher spirits out there. And yeah, on the frequency of just tapping in with nature, that's something that I feel like is a deep connection with our people too, as well as nature. And you being out there is really, it reminded me and inspired me, like to always be out there because we communicate with nature a lot too, through our DNA, especially when we on a certain frequency, So for me personally, I feel like the raw food diet and lifestyle is something important for our frequency and vibration right now because our ancestors, high spirits. They want to channel through us. They want to communicate with us. They want to work with us. You feel me? But our frequency and vibration, as a collective, we can keep raising the more that we live a similar lifestyle. I feel like every other plant and every other being, animals, they all, you know, cohabitate with each other and live for the most part the same lifestyle. They consume the same foods, you know, and they kind of, you know, same share the same frequency. So in humanity, you know, we kind of like split apart in many different ways from, you know, the different lifestyles that we may live, the different food that we may consume. And I feel like, you know, more in the times of segregation, so-called segregation, you know, our people was in a better position because, you know, at least we was in a space where we grew our own foods, had our own land, you know, we were independent, you know, and working, cohabitating amongst each other. Not to say that we don't have no hate or no, you know, issues with no other people, but it's always best to cohabitate with your people first, to have a nation, to have a foundation. So when you go out to, you know, the world, you know, y'all all in sync and one. So, you know, you can see that with the ants, you can see that with the bees, see that with certain, you know, other species of life around us that show us, you know, how to be in a colony, how to be in a nation, and you know, everybody moving in sync and one. You know, and a lot of nations that's moving like that, planet that have been in existence, they've been able to build empires. You know, that's how the pyramids was constructed. That's how all these ancient civilizations was constructed. And you know, I take my time to go to the ruins, to go out to different ancient lands where our people built up, and I feel like those lands they still waiting for us. You know, truthfully, those lands, a lot of our people built that for us to go back there and to rehabilitate again. You know, and it's up to us, like you were saying earlier, in our spirit to want that, to believe that, and to call for that, and just to do that. You know, and I'm in that space of moving like that. You know, moving forward in the rest of my journey. I'm looking forward to connect with other people who on that same frequency. You know what I'm saying? Like yourself, who out there moving with, you know, purpose of connecting people, connecting with the land, connecting with nature, you know, and getting resources back for our people. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, you know, for joining, you know, bringing your light and your energy, you know, to the table. You feel me?
Ashe, Ashe, for the remembrance of nature's way of doing the empires that have been built with our very hands, with our mind power, our consciousness
Yeah.
have created portals and, you know, foundations of balance and justice and truth in accordance with nature.
Mm.
And we can see it in the way ants coexist naturally in unity, and how the honeybees come together and honor the mother, and how each and every system within this earth system is already in place. It's up to us as the human race to remember our place here in accordance with and not against this divine earth planet that we are here existing with. So give thanks for this space to be able to share these gifts, these nuggets of wisdom, of taking steps forward in this manifestation, in this vision of the highest expression of us as individuals, us as a collective. And I'm so looking forward and just really grateful for all of the awakened minds that are rising at this time. Oh my goodness, we're all so charged, supercharged with the blood of our ancestors, the strength of our ancestors,
Mm. Yes.
and,
Give
and
thanks.
so much to look forward to. Give thanks.
Yes. And just one last thing before being alive, in my spirit, in my I've been working with different plant medicines and transition to a more natural lifestyle. I always get these different downloads and spirit talking to me saying that you need to cleanse, you need to detox, you need to go deeper, you're more raw and you're more natural. I think that's my spirit talking to me, speaking about getting rid of like different parasites in my body. You know what I'm saying? And just through different spiritual practices and different downloads and things I'm seeing, I feel like that's like the negative forces, negative energies that's haunting the planet is like parasitic, kind of energy and frequencies. And that's something that I feel like as humanity, we're all fighting within us internally, deep within our system. And all of it that we see outside of us is an external reflection of what's going on inside of us and externally. Because I know that the more externally that I've been cleansing and detoxing, my life has been expansion, been growing and things been so beautiful and so bliss. And the divinity of things is coming to more fruition on the daily. And the more that I, go against that energy, the more that I see my life, it's not, nothing issues, but challenges maybe that pop up. And I'm like, okay, I learned from that. I'm doing better. And I'm constantly cleansing and detoxing, because I've been on my path of eating more natural and plant-based foods for the last coming on 13 years, which has been a beautiful journey for me. But it's all been transition in waves of cleansing and detoxing, getting flesh and parasites out of my body. So I just want to tap in with you on the question as far as like, what's a good way that folks can detox and cleanse naturally with parasites and do like a cleanse. See, you're right on time. So, yup. I just want to touch. I want you to touch on that one time.
Give thanks and praise. Body of work will support any and everyone wanting to incorporate more raw lifestyle or just really dabbling in the art, raw food, working with nature on that level, those who are wanting to reconnect to the planet through food and using food as medicine. This cookbook right here,
Love.
she will give you precisely what it is that you need. Raw and Life, written by me, and I'm just so grateful to share these downloads with you all. Many, I would say, I'm not even going to give a percentage, but many of the recipes in this book were created when I was pregnant and fully raw and in my highest thus far expression of creation, really just connecting with earth and the ethers at once, really colliding and creating these recipes. Absolutely, I'm so grateful that I get to share in this book, and those of you who are ready and just are ready to be inspired, ready to start making some really delicious food, some of your favorite foods that you probably already have, but just in a different expression. So thanks and praise. Y'all can check my website, www.letstalkfood.org, and Ron Ripe is there. So I'm so excited. The official release date is April 11th, and that's coming up very soon. So it's on pre-order right now, but y'all gonna receive y'all books, and I know everybody's so excited, and so many of our people are ready. So I'm just really, really thankful for that, being able to see the transformations take place in front of my very eyes, and really being able to, have a part, play a role in that unfolding is so divine.
Yes. No, I appreciate you sharing that. That was right on time, and I'm definitely going to support and also share. The bomb recipes, the healing properties. You know what I'm saying? The messages, the experiences. All in one book. Also, take a look, and it's popping. I like the cover too. That's nice. Indeed. Ooh, that's what's up. Peace, peace, be alive. Yeah, missing. Some good people. Yeah, they're commenting, saying that they enjoying the time, and shout out to the brothers. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the elder name right. Is it Aries Lathan?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, shout out to him him. I haven't got a chance to physically meet him in a lifetime, but I'm definitely been inspired by his work too as well. I know many people
Yeah,
thank him and study with him, and got some downloads and some energy from the brother. So definitely looking forward to that. How was your experience happening with the master teacher?
it's very divine. It was me and 10 other divine beings. We were his first 11 students at Culinary, Raw Food Culinary Institute in Panama that he has been building now. So beautiful. He's been teaching and has been raw since, for the past 40, 50 years, I believe. Um,
Right.
but yeah, yeah. So that was really, really divine being out there and seeing how he moves and how he lives a sustainable lifestyle. Like just the accessibility of the sustainability where he's at and being able to be inspired by that and remember, this man be climbing coconut trees, grabs a coconut and he's hydrated, and
Right.
it's that remembrance that, oh, that's true hydration. Because nature is naturally filtering that water through the tree. So this is the sustainability. Nature has its own natural filtration system,
Mm,
flows through the earth and through the tree and through the branches and through into the fruit, into the coconuts. And so when we receive that, it's an immediate charge and an immediate remembrance within our cells
mm,
when we take a sip of that coconut water.
for sure.
Immediate.
Yes. Yes.
So being able to even remember that, extremely divine, and having access, being in Panama, going through with him, and every day cracking my own coconuts and chopping coconuts and drinking that every day. It's a remembrance, like,
Mm, mm,
especially since that is where my ancestors is on these sacred lands where we have access. That's what it is. It's like we naturally
mm.
are connected on that level, and I'm first generation American. Both my parents are from Jamaica and grew up in that
Oh,
environment, and their parents
wow.
in that environment. So, like, I come here and I'm like, all right,
Right. Tap me back into the
I have to
land.
go to the grocery store to get a plastic bottle of coconut water.
Mm-mm. That's been sitting
How
for some
long?
time.
And it's like the time period between the moment it's picked off the tree to the
Right.
moment it enters your being.
Exactly.
That electricity.
That charge, it ain't the same. Nah, dear. Uh-uh.
So,
Right.
but we're working with what we have everywhere we are, because the reality is there's a purpose for where each and every one of us are in this particular moment. And so when we surrender and
Mm,
come into the full honoring of that, we start to see that we, yet and still, we have everything we need. And to answer your question, Daniel, does it naturally turn pink? In my experience being in Caribbean islands, every time I open up a coconut and I drink coconut water, I have never seen it turn pink. This
right.
is my personal experience experiencing the lands in which I experienced. Now, that does not mean that perhaps in Thailand, I haven't been to Thailand before yet, so perhaps in Thailand, when you open up a coconut, perhaps it turns pink. I can't 100%, say yes, that's what it is, or what that's where they're getting the coconuts. I don't know. All I know is the coconuts I drink have been clear and supercharged. And
Right. Right. Right.
when you add a key lime to it as well, whoo, the electricity.
Woo, extra spark kicking off. Yeah, I would say I had coconuts in Mexico, um, Haiti, Ghana, Tanzania, trying to think, and Jamaica, and yeah, and Java too. And yeah, all the coconuts was clear, very bomb, very hydrating. Life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know what they serving in the plastic bottles out here. That's pink. It might be pink in Thailand. And they said a young coconut too. So I'm imagining that's more of a one that's not as ripe and full. It might be like that, but I would say I doubt that they wouldn't do something to it. You know what I'm saying either.
That part.
So yeah, so I'll put that out there. But
Especially as
yeah,
a preservative, you just never know.
yeah,
You
yeah.
never know.
No,
And
never
not
know.
every brand is operating in integrity. That's also the issue with, these processed foods and things that we're consuming. Yeah, there's an ingredient list, but most of the time y'all not even reading the ingredients list. So they really could put the truth on it. And because nobody
Mm,
no research,
right.
they're not, they're getting away with it. And like I said, not everybody's operating in integrity. Who's to say that they're not adding something else?
Nah, they not operating integrity, especially on this corporate matrix, and they putting different names and different things on it and
Different
chemicals.
languages, triple up, all kinds of stuff.
Right.
So this is why we have to be diligent and intentional about how we're living, or else we gonna get sucked in the nonsense.
Hmm.
And
I
we
feel you.
don't have to be constantly unconsciously really choosing certain realities.
Nah, indeed. No, you ain't got to choose that. I mean, and you can make smarter choices. Just keep building and growing, and getting back to the land. And
And
once you
the
experience.
power of the word too, and pray over your food, like I
Mm,
said.
okay, yeah, I think that's something that a lot of us lost to the culture. You know what I'm saying? Is that prayer? That Granny in the church, and the family prayer. And eating together as a family. You know what I'm saying? I know growing up that was heavy when I was younger. I got a little older. You can go to the TV. You know what I'm saying? Tap in. You can go play video games and go eat your food. And now
Mm.
I'm not sure how it's being operated, but I know when we come together, we pray over the food. We set an intention.
Mm-hmm.
That go into our system, our nourishment. It go into our temple, and that's what it becomes. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would say
Exactly.
the transmutation of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I be having to do that because a question that came to my mind, and I'm thinking about this because I live an alkaline lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But as I travel to certain places and go to certain things, all that may not be in front of me. So, at times I may substitute something, but replace it with something that is plant based for sure, you know what I'm saying? But it may not have the alkalinity that I would normally like, but I will in turn juice a lot more. I'll take a lot of more of the minerals, sea moss and the sea legit and the different stuff like that to
Mm.
balance, you know what I'm saying? But living a raw lifestyle, let's say, is the alkalinity in there, like say, is that something that somebody should be aware of? If they eating raw and they eating, let's say, like different stuff like broccoli or something, or let's say things like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
peripherous foods, but also like sweet potatoes, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or potatoes. I don't know if that would be something that somebody eating in a real raw lifestyle, but is that
Mm-hmm.
something that somebody should consider as they transitioning? There's certain fruits and vegetables to eat.
In again, use what you have for what you have is sufficient. Not all the time do we have, like you said, when you're traveling, sometimes you just simply do not have access to some of the uh, ingredients that you would deem more alkaline than others. And in my experience, I would not consider myself to live a alkaline as it is, written lifestyle where I'm avoiding sweet potatoes, for example, because I eat sweet potatoes and other foods that may not be considered on the alkaline list. So for me, I eat intuitively. That's really the forefront of my practice is picking up on the colors and the vibrations of the food and working with them as I feel, is most fit for me in that season and experience and moment.
Mm,
So, for example, in my book Raw and Ripe, that cookbook has recipes, for example, for a raw sweet potato pie. So,
yeah.
you know, sweet potato may not be considered on the alkaline list, but it still has vibration and aura and frequency and information for us. And maybe, not every body, assimilates with sweet potatoes more than others. And I honor that too.
No, I think it's a combination of things, and I appreciate the brother, Dr. Secker, breaking down the science of alkalinity and
Yeah.
certain things consuming in the body. But as I've been doing my studies and research, I know it's what you can eat by your blood type. You know, that's one thing. And I think as a people, we should extend that information more to people that's eating a plant-based and raw lifestyle. When I study that, I still see like an animal-based, diet within that, which is good for maybe, Western things as well. You feel me? But I feel like we can extend that information more to a more plant-based lifestyle as far as the blood types. Also, our astrology too, has something to do with our kind of the way we can consume things too. You know,
Mm.
the times and the information that we was born,
Yeah.
and like you said,
It's
being
about
intuitive with
our
what you know.
being.
Go
It's
ahead.
about honoring our own being
Right, right, right.
and our own needs.
Mm,
Yeah. Every body is
right,
different,
right.
and it's healing through different things and evolving through different things and in a different season in their experience. And wisdom is your own personal season, just the way nature honors its each and every season.
Mm, okay, okay. Yeah, that's real. That's real. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because I know it's many different opinions and things when it comes to this lifestyle of health and wellness. But I feel like you said, the overall, my purpose of health, if you're making the transition, it's just you being intuitive, you're making the shifts and cleansing and detox, in the process. Everything, is all in a high vibration, good and all right. So yeah. Give thanks to you, sister, for how much of the divine spark energy, you continue to rise up, you feel me, and build with the goddess energy, for the divine feminine on the planet. We here too as well, you know what I'm saying? We divine masculine, we doing a lot of healing as well, you know what I'm saying? I'm a part of different men's unity movements where, brothers are unifying, coming together, healing in nature, but also we cleansing and detoxing, we sharpen each other with training, fitness, but martial arts. We building our business and our finances. You feel me? Speaking about land and farming, and we coming to uplift and raise the melanated child and embrace the melanated woman, on a high vibration and frequency. So it's a time you in right now. It's all about love, loving each other, loving ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And passing that love on a high vibration and frequency to our people. So yeah, I appreciate brothers and sisters that's on that vibe. We're all gonna heal together. We all gonna build together. You feel me? And do it together. Mm.
Ashe.
Yep. Check it out. So, give
Thank you
thanks.
for having me in this space. It's been an
Yep.
honor. Give
That's
thanks.
Give thanks. All right. For sure. So, yeah, for anybody who wanna continue to follow, yeah, please follow the sister. Tap in, with the book. You feel me? What's it? And yeah, and we're gonna continue to build. And I appreciate everybody for joining. On this Ancient Future Fridays. One last thing for anybody who may still be present, we're doing the Alkaline Healing Retreat in Honduras. This is going to be a all natural healing retreat. You know what I'm saying? Out in Honduras. It's going to be, from the timeline of June the 10th to the 17th. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be an alkaline healing experience where you'll be able to experience, plant-based alkaline foods, the natural thermal waters, out there in Honduras. You'll be out there by the Congo river cabins, holistic river cabin space. Also, you'll be getting some health consultations, to tap in with your personal health needs. And also, you will be getting some raw juice detoxes and cleanses. We'll be doing some herbal cleanses as well. You'll be on the daily sea moss, as well, boosting up the energy. We'll be doing yoga and body movement. We also have a cultural exchange with the Ganifa people, you know what I'm saying? So this will be a Ganifa cultural exchange too as well. And we'll be doing, meditation, community building, and it's all in Honduras. So if anybody's interested, you know what I'm saying, please follow my page and go to the link in the bio, and you can tap in with us. And for the trip, it's 1,500. You know what I'm saying? It's a reasonable cost to go. You know what I'm saying? And that's not including the airline ticket though, so you can get your airline ticket, ahead of time, and it would be at a cheaper price. You've seen the average airline tickets in between like 300 to 400. So We hoping all together nobody has to spend no more than $2,000 to go on this trip. We want you to get your airline ticket when you get there. The transportation be taken care of. We got a bilingual translator that be able to speak some Spanish as well as English to anybody who doesn't speak Spanish. We also will be, just on a cultural vibe with healing people who on the same vibe and frequency as you. So we want everybody to join us. You know what I'm saying? And this again is from June 10th to the 17th. It's a 7-day week experience in Mexico land of Honduras, where Dr. Sabier is doing this thing at, where it's a lot of healing on that land still, one of the most untapped lands in the world, where they got a lot of natural herbs, medicine, they got the thermal waters, and everything is platinum. So yeah, we give thanks to the Most High for everybody joining this live. Beautiful build about health, wellness, spirituality, and we're going to keep it going for the Ancient Future Fridays. To the next time. Ashe.